Here we are again. Hello, people. I'm gonna just get straight back into it. No reason to faff around. Don't know how long I'm gonna be carrying on for, but here we are again. Well, it's 7:30 this time, and it's the weekend. Right. So where are we today? Player buildings are limited in the locations they can be created in. So, haven't I already covered that in? Yeah, I've already covered that in here. I'm gonna get rid of that because that's same decision, alternate perspective. All right, player buildings have So okay, so this will so player buildings having limited size, based on their like group size, so limits. So this will make it so small groups can't build huge bases and take over the map with buildings. Players will have to up to occupy more areas. I don't think there's anything else to be said about that, really. It's almost exclusively to prevent so lots of solo players coming up and populating the entire map with random crap. And let's do limited size and amount. Right, so the idea here is limited size and amount. Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking you could build quite tall, so you could build long bases, but not very wide bases. I mean, it's difficult because I want raiding to be more impactful for both sides. Like, I don't want to have to spend, like, Rust is an annoying scenario, I find, because you just get a shit ton of explosives, and then from the attacker's perspective, you just kind of sit there, grind out resources, and you spend the next however long blowing through people's doors, walls, and everything in between. And it's like, it's not the most entertaining experience in the world. It is the driving force in games like Rust and things, but I feel like there's a more precise approach to it where you have much more limited explosive capabilities, but when you use them, they're impactful. The idea should be the players should be able to defend their base effectively. And if they allow somebody to get close enough to their walls or doors to put an explosive on them, then they're kind of, without stopping people, then they're kind of screwed anyway. So if we had a situation where, we have like a raiding section somewhere in here, I think. Raiding, here we go. Okay, so like, yeah, power tools, allows space, move, power, being raiding players. Okay, so, let's just copy, because I need to consider some aspects of raiding before I go into this, I think. So I just steal this, go back down here. And we get rid of it being up to there. Get rid of that. Okay, so So there's like raid difficulty. So let's just make these up in here. Raid alarm. So let's just put these in as decisions real quick. Would you look at that? Right, cool. Okay, so like raid difficulty. So time taken to break into a base based on power of tools as weapons used. So for instance, this could be based on building size and quality. This could allow small bases to survive just as well as large bases. So I'm thinking like if you're raiding somebody who's a solo player and you've got a large group of people, you kind of want to balance it so that the raids take approximately the same amount of time to achieve. It's just on the person defending and the people attacking as to whether they can hold each other back for long enough to achieve it. So let's say so when a player or players raids base, we want the raids to be a similar experience regardless of how many people are involved in the size of the base. Whoops. I probably want text wrapping for the text wrapping is one of these. That one. What does that do? All right, interesting. Anyway, oh, that just alternates, right? That's the default, and that's with parameter spacing. Okay, right. Regardless of how many players are involved and the size of the base, we want to make a more simplistic approach to reaching players' defenses that allows both sides to engage with the other without a base simply being taken out by brute force. Yeah, so let's think. Okay, so the main tool used to breach the player's base will be C4. This will be only acquired from PvE content tool. No. Acquired. It's not like double Q, no. God damn, why am I so bad at this today? Hack. That's acquire, and that's acquired. To get something, to have something. Okay, this is driving me mad already. I'm gonna type it in Google and it's gonna be fine. Oh, I just literally just missed the C there, right? Okay, so yeah, so the C4 will only be required from the PvE content, from completing specific types of missions. Right. So the time at C4 charge breaker door will be consistent for all I wish this had a bloody autocorrect. I don't know why it. Okay, I would never have thought it didn't have an eye in it. Anyway, so this will be consistent for all bases regardless of size? Okay, so let's say you have a really big base. Now, the problem with Rust is you could build like 400 doors, cover loads of different angles and stuff, and the players, you know, they come up to your base and they shoot at you, you shoot at them, they breach a door, then you shoot in that next doorway, and so on and so forth, and there's a never-ending cycle. And if we don't have like a limit on this, or like a stalling time period, then you know large groups of people with lots of explosives can just break through an entire base, and you know, well, in this case, it could be like minutes. You know, they just keep firing, and then they've got overwhelming numbers, and you're just screwed essentially. And I don't like that as a concept. What I think would works better is giving the player inside the base the ability to structure their base in such a way that the enemy players only have one place they can go, and you can make all sorts of places to fire from, different angles and stuff, various defenses and things, and their job is to get to your base, put the C4 down and defend it. And the idea would be, if you're defending, you kill the players attacking, and then you get the opportunity to defuse the C4. Now I could foresee an issue here. So let's say so I actually don't think that's necessary. I think I'm getting on a bit there. So C4 timer. So the C4 is on a fixed timer. It's off. So this enables all raids to follow a more simple and structured design. Players have a guarantee. Is it really not? Oh, it's got a U in it. Okay, yep, cool. Let's have a guarantee that the base will last for a fixed duration before players can attempt to enter it at all. Let's think, what else? Reading larger or smaller bases will have a similar, will have the same level of threat and raid time. Okay, so the disadvantage to this, raiding with a larger party might feel wasted. Raiding a group as a solo could be impossible. So that's the two extremes. So if you raid with a large party, then it can feel a bit wasteful having a large group of people. I mean, obviously you have more supplies and stuff. And then equally, raiding a group as a solo could be very, very challenging, which I suppose, to be fair, is kind of the point. I mean, if they got two people defending, you could essentially should be screwed. But yeah, so we'll think about that. Yeah, so raiding could become stale and base designs might become might so hang on. Yeah, raiding could become stale. Base designs. Let's think about this. So the design of a player's base to defend against raiding could be very one format. You know, if you've got, the blocks with some windows in places, a door, and your base is being raided, but I mean, what do you do? Like, after a certain point, the design. So, like, Rust gets pretty cleverly complicated, players making all these elaborate angles and stuff to shoot from, which gets quite interesting. But the only way they even achieve that, or have to achieve that, or sorry, have to do things like that, is because players can come in from any angle. And so if I only had like a single door of entry, not even an airlock, for instance, then raiding somebody's base could be you would end up facing like the same design of base every single time just to cope for this situation. So I'm wondering, yeah, well, same, but designs could become meta such standard. I could some kind of meta or standard. Okay, so raiding with a larger party might feel wasted. So groups of players will still provide benefit to the attacker. Oh dear. Not in a good position for this at the moment. The hair keeps attacking me. Right. Groups of players will still provide benefit to the attackers as they more ammo and can hold the enemy defender. Defenders back easily. Solo player could hold better angles or better supply slash offensive capabilities. Interesting. One of the let's cover the main one because so the main disadvantage is the defenders can simply attempt to defuse, use the C4, then raiders will basically have one attempt to reach a player's base and make no progress towards the raid. Like normally in these games, I mean, you try and break into somebody's base and like they hold you off, you shoot them back, they shoot you back, and you damage their base and you progressively like make your way through almost like a going for a dungeon crawler and the boss keeps respawning. So okay, now let's assume that players don't just have one door and one C4, but it's still the same premise. Because if you die in Rust with explosives, then obviously that is the risk, right? That's the entire risk, is that you come with all or most of your stuff to break into somebody's base. You kill them, start working away at their defenses, and then they come out and they kill you. And then they take all of your raiding tools. You know, if you only had the ones that you brought with you, and then that's kind of it. I suppose that's kind of the point. Maybe that's fine. So what I'm thinking is the attackers have to go up to a wall and they have to like arm the C4. And let's say it takes 5 seconds for them to put it on the wall and get away. So if they get shot during that time, then obviously the C4 stops doing its thing, and then they have to, while they risk death, basically, it doesn't get interrupted. They'll just either be dead or have planted it and died after the fact. So okay, so you put some C4 on somebody's base, on like on their door or something. Obviously, the player inside will have to come out and defuse it manually. Um, hmm. So okay, so you kill the person who's just put C4 on your base. All right, so there's now a dead person outside. Let's say it was just a one-on-one in solo. If you go out and try and fight, so you go outside and you scavenge their body, and they've only got like maybe 2 or 3 more C4 on them, and obviously you take all their loot and stuff, and you just kind of go in and out of your base a few times, dropping all of the stuff back, and then you go back to the C4 and defuse it. So like, how long should it take to defuse the C4? Don't know, like 5-10 seconds or something maybe. To give the attackers a chance, but like we're talking like you die and you'll be like, even with like temporary beds set up somewhere, you'll still take a while. Like we're talking a good couple minutes to come back to this person's base. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's not a problem. That's just how it is. You try and raid someone, you kill them, but they're in their base. They obviously respawn right there, pick up their stuff, which is inside their base, which you haven't broken into, and then they can kill you. But I suppose it would work out in the same way that Rainbow Six Siege does. So like when you plant the bomb, there's like I think it's a minute timer. Yeah, it's a minute or maybe a minute and a half. And it's like the ideal strategy is to bait the enemy into trying to defuse the bomb whilst you're alive, right? So you give them no reason or ability to fight you, and then you bait them onto defusing the bomb, and then you like come down from the roof or from an angle they weren't expecting, or you blow up another explosive, or use a tool or something to like take him out when they make a play for the C4. And I suppose you could use the same argument here, and then it's like then it's on the player's base design as to whether or not they can like shoot at people who they can't currently see. So if you've got your base, let's say you're terrible and you've just got a cube with a door on it. So the enemies put C4 on it. You maybe got some windows around the base. You open the windows and they're nowhere to be seen, and you can hear the C4 beeping away. And then what you don't know is that this player is crouched or prone somewhere else on the map. You know, they're like 30 meters away behind a tree, and all they have to do is listen out for you opening your door and coming out to disarm the C4. And they just wait, and then they shoot you, and they kill you. And then maybe your door's still open and they can just walk into your base. So the C4 kind of served its purpose anyway. Or the C4 goes off and takes out your door, and then they walk in and then they kill you again when you respawn because they now just camp your bed or something. I guess that's just how it goes. Obviously, you could have multiple doors and you have to do it several times, and then you would have to set up. I can picture. So I'm gonna have to use paint for it, I suppose. But so like, let's say so ideally, let's do red as a door. Right, so let's say you had a simple setup. Green's going to be windows. So you have a base that's essentially like this. Right, and so you'd have something like this. Right. Russia, no. Why have I lost them? Right, and you have green. So these are windows. You've got 2 doors, right? So enemy player comes. Good grief. Can I? Right. Enemy player there. You're up here. Enemy player comes up, puts the C4 here, and then if you kill them, this detonates. Oh, yeah, this detonates, takes out this door. Right, let's say that happened. So you killed them, but it still went off. And then they come in. What's shotgun? Who knows? And then they managed to get another one down here. So they brought another one back with them. This time you killed them and you open the door, but as you went outside you die. And so now your door would be, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I got to think about how the C4 attaches doors, I suppose. That might become problematic, but well, let's say the door is open here and the C4's attached to it. Maybe you have to close the door again. That would make sense. Something like that. Anyway, and then yeah, and then the enemy player walks into your base. You respawn, they shoot you. This goes off. Now you've got no door, your base is exposed and they're in it. They can spend all the time in the world, they kill you, take out your bed. With, well, whatever. I'll make them. Oh, I suppose so. Let's put another thing in here. So we copy this. So this would be player. So hostile. Well, hang on. All players can manually deconstruct enemy utility. Manually deconstruct enemy utility inside the base. So let's just put brackets, beds, chests, etc. Okay, so this would be like once someone breaches a base, they can freely take out enemy spawns and valuables without needing to expend any more resources. Okay, so we got this as a concept now. Why is deconstruct? Who knows? More tea. I think I need to put this lower or something. Ah, okay. Where did we get to? So I need to separate this. Yeah, okay, so raiders could have several C4 on them, and can attempt to breach the base multiple times. Rees on reasonable time frame. Okay, I think that's pretty good for that. Blah blah blah. Ink could become stale. Additional means of breaching bases could be added with varying levels of risk. Is it not? Yeah. These could be tools that breach a door manually, that require a player to be stood still and create a constant noise. So I like the idea that raiders can use like drills, jackhammers and things, like really high-end power tools. So there could be like tiers of raiding gear. So like C4 could be like the mid-range, and then there could be another one before that. It could just be like lock picking or something, and it could take like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something, and you just got to stand there. And maybe it only works on the early tier of doors. Because I mean, people in Rust are willing to sit there for like half an hour to eco raid into bases with spears. It's something like that. I'm gonna look this up because it's like there's a calculator for it. Look at this shit. Alright, whatever. Oh, is it a tool? Oh my god. How's this work then? Highlight best option. Oh, okay. So like that's, oh man. Yeah, so what's the usual? Where's the spear? That was a minute. 7 spears, 2 minutes on that. That is the soft side of a wall. Doors. 30 minutes. That ain't happening. Flamethrower. Nice. And that is 7 minutes. So whoa, go away. What about turrets? You know, I'm interested now. A minute. Okay. Intriguing. They're about the same time. It's not much better with anything else. Hey, you'd be lucky to get close enough to a turret to hit it with most of these things anyway. That's surprising. Oh, chainsaw kind of makes sense. Fascinating. Oh, longsword. Alright, cool. So yeah, there's summon. Jeez, 400 fuel. That's mad. It's very quick though. Alright, okay, so yeah, so what are we saying? We are, oh, okay. Constant noise, blah 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 blah. Yeah, So yeah, having a lockpick for like basic doors, like first quality doors could be an equivalent. You just simply walk up to somebody's base and you sit there lockpicking stationary for 2 minutes. Or I could do it like hang on, let's just go. Where are we? So this is like rating overall. So if we just do another section, which is rating tools, and we steal this again. It's good these tangents I keep going on. At least I'm achieving stuff all the time. I can only think of so many things before I run out, so we'll get there. So let's go with lockpick. C4 and like diamond drill or something, right? There we go. Cool. Because it could be the case that if you get to a certain tier of stuff, you could have like your last door could be like impenetrable to C4, or they need to use like multiple. So there's like qualities of door. And so rather than hit points of building components, you're only going through doors. I don't like the idea of having to break through people's walls and things. It's whatever. What are we going for? Yeah, so you could get doors. Let's say there's like a early tier, mid tier, mid to late tier, and a late tier. So that like the mid tier requires C4, the mid to late tier could require multiple C4, and then the end late tier one could require like a lot. So you'd have to like repeatedly hit it for like, I don't know, 10 of it or something. Or you get like the diamond drill and you sit there at it for like 3 minutes straight or something and you breach. And maybe I could limit like players' bases to only having one of those kinds of doors in them. So you'd have like your loot room with one of those, and then obviously defenses and stuff around the place. Yeah, I've got to carefully consider room sizes for this game. I don't want to end up in the Rust situation too early. They've got a nice size for the foundation and stuff, but it's like putting things in places and stuff that doesn't quite line up and just gets a bit awkward, it seems. My plan is to have default stackable storage, but it starts with one instance of the storage and then you can add additional chests. So like your first storage container when you make a base requires wood and metal, and then the metal becomes this shelving unit and the wood makes the chest, and then you can add extra chests to it and then interact with those individually. That would be cool. And then like workbenches and things will slot really nicely so that they can have a door at like to the left or to the right of them and open nicely. So it'll be like the wall split into 3 columns, and then it's just a case of occupying slightly less than 2 columns, and it will like snap to them as well. And I also like the idea of a workbench that's expandable. So rather than having to make multiple stations to craft different things, some things could be crafted. Like you could upgrade your workbench and add components to it, and it could get like a layer on top, all that kind of stuff. Oh dear. Right, let's finish this off. So we're on base designs could become head towards. Why did I put that there? Oh, that's against the rating could become. So right, base design. Right. Okay. Okay. Can I avoid meta bases? I don't think so. Well, it's simple really. I just need to add enough variety of defensive options for the defending players. Could be traps, horizontal and vertical angles, building above doors and having alternate 6-2 base to approach attackers' flanks. That seems reasonable. Right. Let's see what this is looking like properly now. Even full screen it. Oh Lord. So, yeah. Walls and walls of text. Here we come. I haven't even gone to guns, the weapons, the damage types, how attachment works, how I balance the stats, how I do the missions, how the NPCs work. It's that, what the currency is, the UI, mini maps, what's the full maps like, the UI that the characters can have, the currencies of the game, how death works. This is, oh man. Lot to think about. I do like it because once I've done this once, I can start working on it just pieces at a time, like I'm doing here. I could go, oh, today I'm going to make it so the mission system does this small part, and now it spawns missions of this type successfully, and I just give it some basic loot to spawn, and then I work on, AI behaviors and improve certain aspects of them. And the next day I make some more of the UI functional and all that kind of stuff. And you just keep going until you tick every single box. And that's not to say that you've done it and it's finished. That's to say that you put something in that does kind of what you want it to do. It all started with this. Goodness me. Well, after next week, I'm going to have indefinite free time Well, that's what it's going to feel like anyway. I've got 3 weeks off back to back. So, I will be on every single day for many hours, I would imagine, doing this. Now I'll probably do some things in Blender and maybe do a bit of maybe even music or something. That'd be cool. I have the means, so I might as well look into it at some point again. Yeah. Oh, kind of feel like doing something else though. Is that enough? I'm going to be doing this tomorrow as well. I might as well leave it at that and come back. But I mean, I've put a lot more thought into all the raiding aspects of the game. So yeah, what more do you want? Cool. Alright, I'll leave it there. I'll see you guys around.